Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Happy Thursday afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Jordan Brenner, hosting Duck Insider. Joey Mack on his way down to Berkeley for the 3-game baseball series coming up with Cal. It'll be a busy weekend of Oregon athletics, and we're going to spend the day previewing it. You'll hear from Melyssa Lombardi, who sat down with Joey Mack a little bit earlier today or yesterday. And then later on, Mark Wasikowski meeting with the media, previewing a critical road series against the California Golden Bears. Before we get to Coach Lombardi, though, some very sad news to pass along, and the University of Oregon community is mourning the loss of a couple of Oregon athletics Hall of Famers. Dave Wilcox passed away yesterday, the UO Hall of Famer, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, and just as nice a guy as you're ever going to want to meet. I had the chance to meet him a few years ago down in Berkeley. Couldn't have been nicer to me, and certainly our condolences to the Wilcox family. Also, unfortunately, have to announce the passing of a UO Athletics Hall of Famer, Bob Berry, who quarterbacked the Ducks from 1962 to 64, was a winning player, and both passed away yesterday, and certainly extending condolences to the Berry family. Sad day yesterday here in the Oregon athletics community. Melyssa Lombardi with Joey Mack yesterday talking about an upcoming series with Arizona. Now, this is a softball program that's trying to build momentum. A couple of midweek cancellations on a doubleheader with rain in the area. But Oregon just swept Arizona State and are trying to make a run moving forward in Pac-12 play. The head coach of Oregon softball with Joey Mack.
A slight adjustment to the schedule this week. Normally we're talking on a Tuesday. Canceling a doubleheader means we're now talking on a Wednesday afternoon, and you're seeing this on a Thursday as Duck softball prepares now for their next opponent. Coach Lombardi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. All right, so walk us through. We didn't talk last week. We took a bye week based on scheduling, and then this week with a cancellation. I mean, it feel like I haven't talked to you in so long. Just tell me what's been going on.
Just a lot of softball. Just a lot of softball. We're right in the middle of it, but It's going well.
Canceling 2 games, I imagine that changed the way the team prepares this week. How did it affect things?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to play. Just our weather's been fussy. It's been fussy, and so weren't able to play yesterday, but it gave us kind of allowed us to get a little bit of a head start and start preparing for Arizona. I thought we had a really good practice yesterday, so. Just is what it is.
Arizona upcoming. This is a big weekend for the Ducks. 7:30 on Friday, 4 o'clock on Saturday to get things rolling. You guys are at number 16 in the rankings, number 19 in the RPI, currently tied for 4th in the Pac-12 with Stanford. These are the fun weekends, right? Like, we're starting now to get into, like, all right, here's where it stacks up. This is why you come to Oregon to play in these games, I'd imagine.
For sure, for sure. The pack is tough. Every weekend is tough, and I think you have to have your mind right and be ready to compete and get after it. And I think our team has done a really, really good job of that. We've talked all season long about having a postseason mentality right from the start, and they've done that.
When you talk about postseason mentality, like what do you want them to be exercising when you talk about that? Like what goes into that for you?
Yeah, when we think about postseason mentality, I think about in the past with the years with these guys, the number one goal is to win. You could care less what your average is. You could care less if early in the season you hit a ball, it falls in, you're miserable because you didn't hit it hard. In postseason, you're so happy you don't care because you're on and you're giving your team a chance to win. Your just mentality shifts in postseason because it's either win or go home. And so how do you have that mentality right from the start? And that's something that we've preached all year.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you win.
Yeah, just win.
That's interesting. I mean, I love that. So weekend highlights, you went 3-0 at Arizona State. I was talking about this earlier on the show for some historic context. It's the first time that a Duck team has swept in Tempe since 2016. What was the formula for success? How'd you do it?
I think these guys have done a really good job of just sticking to them and who they are and not getting caught outside of that. They're real specific on things that they want to do at the plate and on defense and on the mound, and that postseason mentality, they celebrate it. I think about double play balls that allowed us to get out of the innings. Like they're looking and waiting for that. We just talked about some different things that we're trying to do, like process things instead of getting caught up in did we win or did we lose. What are some process things that if we do enough of them will allow the outcome to be what it needs to be?
It's really interesting you talk about like the process. How often is the process changing even during a game? Like something goes right and you're excited about it, something goes wrong, you fix it. Like that happens so fast, I feel like sometimes.
It does, and you can't get caught up in what just happened, whether it was positive or negative. It happened. We need to move forward, and how do we want to move forward quickly? And I think they've all done a really good job of that. We're going to face a pitcher, and we might get to that pitcher quickly, or if we don't, then what's that in-game adjustment that's going to allow us to get to her? So those little things they have been doing for the past couple of weeks, and you can see it's done a lot for our team. Only
2 earned runs allowed by the pitching staff this past weekend. That's a .67 earned run average. What was so successful for the pitchers? Because, like outside looking in, right? Like traditionally, the ball tends to fly when you're in the desert. It didn't really against you guys. What was the key?
Yeah, I think, every weekend these guys prepare, they watch video. We're really specific about our opponent, but I just think they excelled with our game plan and understanding what we wanted to do and then just executing the game plan and getting their Ks when they needed to get them, but then also letting our defense play behind them. So I think if we can put ourselves in good counts and have the opportunity to distort the hitter's timing, that we can do some good things. And I thought that we did that this past weekend.
Some individuals now offensively. It feels like Alyssa Daniels heating up for you. What'd you see from her this weekend?
Yep. I think she's heating up. She's been working with Coach Martyr on her swing and just making a couple, just small adjustments. And you could see that she's figuring it out. So she's got a pretty left-handed swing. She hits for power and just still needed a couple things. And so I expect she's going to continue to stay hot as we're moving forward. 2 home runs and 5 RBIs for her over the weekend, and she hit .444. How often is it a very subtle change, like in someone's swing? Right? Like I hear coaches all the time talk about that it can be a subtle thing, just a little tweak, and then it clicks. How often is that true? I think it's really true. I think it's just something little that can go a long way, or it's something that they know and have just been working on it, and then finally it makes sense for them. Sometimes too, it's just you just need the reps. Like what you need to do. You just need to continue to get the reps, and maybe you're not quite figuring it out early in the season, but then as the season goes on, you start to figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like there are times in everybody's career where it clicks, and then you get the muscle memory almost, right? Like that's really what you're trying to find in any sport, I guess, is the muscle memory with the mechanic.
Yes, I think it's the ability to repeat in everything that you do. Can you repeat and repeat at a high level?
Repeating some history for the Ducks. So you're going to have more pro Ducks coming. I do want to go beyond just this team and talk to you about this because it was pretty cool on Monday to anytime you see in a draft professionally a Ducks name called, we all get excited about it, right? On Duck Insider. But Allie Bunker got the chance to see that.
Yep.
And as the sport continues to grow, how rewarding was that to see?
It was cool. I mean, Allie's been with me since version 1, and just to see how much she has grown as a person, as a player, as a teammate, as a leader, and then get an opportunity, like how unbelievable to hear your name called on national TV. We were sitting in the SBC. We had just finished practice and we had it on, and we were waiting for the draft, and we're waiting for them to call her name, and just to hear him call her name, like, she was excited. We were all just so excited for her because she deserves it. She's worked hard to get to this point.
Were there some nerves like when she saw the name coming? Did you guys kind of feel that way?
I think the nerves more of like you're waiting, to get called, and you're like, okay, this might be it. And then we all have our cameras out. It's not this one. That's okay. We don't want them
next
anyway.
One. Yeah,
we don't want them anyway. And then it's like, okay, I think it's going to be this one. But then I think to hear her name called just for her, probably kind of just a little bit of relief. Like, yes, I get a great opportunity.
Yeah, that's really cool. Allie Bunker, 16th overall to the Pride, a name that we're familiar with thanks to our friend Haley Cruz, right? Played for the USSA Pride. It's interesting. I feel like with the growth of the sport, and I kind of wanted to take this opportunity to ask you about this, like having the women's professional fast pitch draft, having the sport continue to grow. We're seeing more and more professional leagues. Like, what's your just observation of that right now, and where do you see the sport going professionally?
I think the sport of softball is unbelievable. And I think with social media, and I think with the World Series, and I just think the more that we get opportunity to be on national televised, TV programming, people that didn't know what we already know are like, wow, this is an unbelievable sport to be a part of and watch. And I just think it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger. I feel like every time we're at the World Series, we're breaking records. Postseason, we're breaking records. You would never see a game televised in early February, and now it's automatic. This past fall games are being televised. Like, it's unbelievable. So I'm so happy to be a part of the sport. It's a great sport, and I just think it's just going to continue to be on the up.
That's cool. One of the pro ducks that has continued to be on the up, and you talk about the growth of the sport professionally, has been Gwen Savekis. We've talked with her since she graduated. Scott loves her because she's a Star Wars fan. That's really all it takes for Scott if you just want the way to Scott's heart. But Gwen is now going to be playing for Team USA. I haven't got a chance to have you talk about this on the show. Playing for the national team, that's significant for a pro duck.
She's the real deal. I just think about her as a catcher. She can hit for power. She can receive. She can throw. Like, she is complete behind the plate. And I think at times it can be hard to find complete catchers. I think Tara McGowan is so complete.
Right.
She can do it all. But for Gwen to be doing that and to be able to go play for Team USA, I'm pumped for her. I got a chance to text with her a little bit, and she's in Japan right now playing.
Yeah.
So she's put a lot of hard work in. I think her playing at Athletes Unlimited really allowed, I think that did a little something for her late in her career. She's great, but just has elevated even more.
Well, and just even off the field, like, she did so much for that league in terms of promotion for it, and even coming on talking with me on the show about it, right? Like, stuff like that. I think it just goes such a long way. A couple final thoughts from Melyssa Lombardi joining us. So 3-game series coming up. A little bit of just a history note for those of you that are going to be at the Jane this weekend. Allie Bunker, you can keep this on your bingo card. When she scores 2 more runs, she will become the only player in program history ranked in the Oregon career top 5 in hits, doubles, runs, and RBIs. So I bring this up in part because I've been talking about it on the baseball broadcast all the time that Tanner Smith has been rewriting the record book left and right. Well, Tanner Smith and Allie Bunker in the same season, I'm telling you, we may never see something like this again in the diamond sports, because those 2 careers being the same year that they are, it's really been amazing for me, and then Ryan Milano, who calls the softball games, everybody for KWVA. Ryan and I have been talking about this. Like, we don't know that we're going to see another back and forth like this of just terms of career success. It's really something. It's really cool to see that, I think.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's been awesome to watch Allie over the years, and then especially in her last year, because she's just at a point in her career where she just gets it. She knows what she needs to do. She's got thick skin. She doesn't allow a bat to take her out of the entire game. She's just in a great spot, as a mature athlete. And I think see the same thing with Tanner. He's been there, done that. He knows what he needs to do. So it's been awesome to watch them both.
3-game series, Arizona, Friday, 7:30. Free yellow T-shirts to the first 500 fans. And I'm told that Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning is throwing out the first pitch. Do you have any advice for Dan Lanning throwing out the first pitch on Friday?
Nope, I think he's got it.
All right. On Saturday, NFCA Day, and then on Sunday, it's the Pink Game, cancer awareness. This is a pretty special day for your program, I know, whenever you get the chance to celebrate with the Pink Game.
For sure, definitely. We very special for our athletes, for us as coaches, and then just to be able to pull out those uniforms and play, it's going to be a great day.
Speaking of first pitches, Tara McGowan's aunt, Janice Walker, a cancer survivor, is throwing out the first pitch on Sunday. A handful of reserve tickets are left for each game, so come on out to the Jane. Anything we missed? What should fans know?
Just that this team is playing really, really well right now. I think we're starting to get hot at the right time. We need our fans to come out and cheer us on all weekend long. We've got this weekend, the Utah weekend at home. We're away at Cal. We're right there at the end. So we need you to come out and be loud and rumble the stands and be a part of what we're going to do this weekend.
Looking forward to it. Coach Lombardi, thank you.
Thanks.
You heard it there from the head coach of Oregon softball. Be there at the Gin this weekend for Oregon and Arizona. Make an impact on the game as the Ducks go on a little bit of a run here. That's my prediction moving forward. Mark Wasikowski coming up after the break. He met with local reporters, talked about the Portland game and the upcoming weekend against Cal. That's here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Mark Wasikowski had a lot to say this week, looking back at a disappointing loss against Portland. Still some positives in that game that the coach is going to go into. And then looking ahead to a critical series with Cal, a team that's on the lower half of the Pac-12, but has shown that especially at home they can beat anybody and will play some of the best teams in the country tough. Real challenge coming up for the Ducks. Mark Wasikowski with the media yesterday.
Obviously, it's a tough loss yesterday against Portland, but what do you tell you guys to just continue trusting the process? You guys have won 15 of your last 19, just to keep going.
Yeah, those are good numbers. Frustrating to experience what we experienced last night. Plenty of excuses, plenty of reasons, and bottom line is, it wasn't good enough. And there were a lot of great things about the ball game yesterday. I mean, I really liked the way our guys came out swinging the bat. I liked a lot of the stuff that I saw on the mound yesterday with specifically Jackson Pace. There were a lot of bright lights, at the end of the day, and yet the end of the day wasn't a very bright light. So what do we tell the team? It's practice day, and we need to get after on the practice and, again, address the things that are holding us back. And it just seems like we get to a point, and have now several times, where, boy, you start feeling a lot of momentum and feeling a lot of progress. And, are we over the hump? And then the answer is no. There's a setback. And so it's been the story so far. And although that's the story is really good overall, like you indicated. And we've positioned ourselves well. But, boy, you'd just like to see the guys take the next step and take a good baseball team to an elite baseball team.
Your last midweek loss to Niagara was a very kind of similar story. You guys are ranked. I don't know how much you pay attention to that. But you guys become ranked and lose the midweek game, but you guys then go on this 11-game winning streak right afterwards. Just, is there a similar kind of sentiment that you're telling to the team, or is it you trying to find something new?
Totally different set of circumstances. I hope the result's the same, and we, take off on a win streak. And so I hope that's the indicator. The games that we played were totally different feelings and different set of circumstances, and so to equate those two would be hard for me to do, and wouldn't be accurate probably. So I guess just bottom line is just looking at the things you're doing well and continuing to try to strengthen those, and then looking at the things that that aren't quite where they need to be quite yet, and work to address those and strengthen those. And that's all we've done as a coaching staff the whole time. And so far it's worked, and just like I said, we're just looking for that extra nudge to get us over the top of the hill to where we can play downhill. And it seems like every time we get to that top of the hill, we want to take a step backwards instead of two forward.
Bryce Betcher's been getting a lot of playing time. Just what have you seen from him, kind of getting some everyday action in addition to his good defense, hitting a couple home runs?
Yeah, I mean, we love Bryce. He's a great kid. He's made of the right stuff. He's shown that he can really run a baseball down in the outfield, and so his next step for his development is to show that he can do more than run a baseball down on a consistent basis. And as he does that, he'll earn more playing time.
Pace runs into some trouble in that 6th inning, but before then he was pretty good. This is a handful, a couple pretty good starts for him. Just what have you seen from him as he progresses through the season? Yeah, and he really didn't run into much. The trouble that he ran into was basically self-inflicted from a defensive standpoint. So optimistically, Jackson's outing, even right when he got pulled from that game, the reason why he got pulled from that game is we needed strikeouts at that time. Just the game dictated that you needed a strikeout in a situation, and so the decisions were made to go in the direction we did. And so, and I don't regret those whatsoever. Honestly, I was really excited about Jackson's outing all the way through the end. Unfortunately, his line probably isn't quite as good as he pitched. But we're, having him progress and do the things he's doing now after a couple of midweek starts, awesome to see. And I really appreciate Coach Angier's patience and work with him to start seeing the results that we're seeing. Have you guys thought about switching up the Sunday starter? Or have you guys talked about that yet?
We don't really sleep a lot. So yeah, we talk about absolutely.
We haven't seen Dominic Hellman much recently. Is he banged up at all? Just what's going on with him right now?
Yeah, Dom's, unfortunately, he's dealing with an injury, and he's not quite day-to-day. He's probably going to be out and might be out for the remainder of the season, which is unfortunate. A guy like that, as good as he is, he'd be obviously a guy that you want in your lineup because he can impact the game so quickly. And so that's unfortunate, but yeah, that's the status of him.
What kind of injury is it? Or don't you know?
You talked a lot about Jay Stoffel, but how'd you get him here and do a little feature on him, and how has he improved since he got here, and what are the things that made that happen?
Well, I think it was a body of work, and it first starts from internally, whether the kids want to improve and what are they willing to put in terms of their work ethic. Jace was an 86 to 88 mile an hour guy, 89 mile an hour guy coming out of a junior college that had a good delivery, but still needed to come a ways. and was just pitching locally. He wasn't on a national circuit or anything like that. And, we just knew that we needed help in our pitching department, and we felt like he was a strike thrower. And even though his stuff was light at the time, we felt like with development, and we had heard from his junior college coaches and people down in his neck of the woods that he was a great kid and a worker, and he comes from a great family. And so, we went in on him, just assuming that it would work from a work ethic standpoint, and it has. He's developed, and he continues to develop, and it comes from inside. It comes from Coach Angier and Daryl Hunter specifically in the weight room. Those guys have a massive impact on the development when it comes to the pitching side.
Any updates on Isaac Ayon?
Day to day, and he's progressing well, and I look to see him, hopefully sooner rather than later. But he's definitely, we're definitely planning on having him back by the end of the season for sure.
How nice is it to have Gavin Grant with his 2 solo shots yesterday out of the 9-hole? Is kind of coming around.
Could have had a third too. In the middle innings yesterday when we didn't score any runs, our at bats might have even been as good as they were all day. We probably hit 3 or 4 balls into the teeth of the wind. At that time, the wind started blowing in about 20 miles an hour, and there were probably 3 or 4 more balls that could have gone out of the park. And Gavin might have had a third home run at that time, which is crazy because he swung the bat very well. A lot of our guys swung the bat very well. I don't think I've ever really been quite a part of a game that we experienced last night, where I think we really hit the ball exceptionally well. And just, the story of the night was the fact that we didn't answer the bell when we needed to with the gloves.
As we look towards Cal, you guys have Jay Stoffel probably going on Friday. I know you haven't announced it yet, but 2 straight Pac-12 pitcher of the week. How nice is that in your confidence level to go into Friday nights with Jace on the mound?
Jace has been really good. We haven't determined where or if he's going to pitch this weekend. He's outstanding, and he and Mercado last weekend were a fantastic 1-2 punch. Every time that you try to identify just one spot where you need improvements from, then maybe something else might show up that sneaks up on you. And so for us, we just literally are going one day at a time and one game at a time. Everyone's important, and we don't take anyone even more lightly or seriously than another. They're all big games.
This Cal team has been on an offensive tear. Kretschmeyer is, one Pac-12 player of the week last week, hit like 700 in the series. They put up 14, 9, 10, 11, and 17 runs in the last couple of games. Just how do you guys attack them from your pitching perspective, and with Stoffel and Mercado going this weekend?
Yeah, and last night the kid got another, I think, 3 hits and 4 RBIs and hit 2 home runs or whatever it was. And so, he's on fire. He's a graduate transfer from, I think it was Dartmouth, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a really quality left-handed hitter. He's a complete guy, and he's on fire. And so we're going to need to answer the bell with that.
One of your guys is on fire, Sabine Ceballos, who's hit 3 home runs in the last 3 games. Just how to have him in the middle of the lineup behind Cowley, just what have you seen from him and hitting those off-speed pitches, because that's how he's gotten all 3 of his home runs?
Yeah, Sabine's just really good. He's and no matter if it's Sabine, a good lineup's got more than one hitter in it. And so, as the weeks have gone, I think the Arizona week, Jacob Walsh went crazy, and Sabine's been on a hot streak. Drew Calley's starting to swing the bat exceptionally well. Our lineup right now, I think, is starting to swing the bat again very well. And it's an optimistic place I'm in right now, looking at the weekend. And I think the things that we saw last night, blipping the screen, I don't think that's a trend or anything like that whatsoever. We've played exceptional defense up to this point in the year, and I look to continue to do that with the guys. And just, I don't know, Sabine's a really great kid too. He's a fun guy to be around, as you guys know, being out there every day.
We've seen from Cal's starters. I think Becerra is their Friday night guy the last couple of weeks. Just what have you seen from them overall?
Well, they've had some injuries on the mound. They lost the lefty that's really good. Pasqualado, the right-hander from Vegas, is now pitching on Saturdays for him, and he's coming off of an injury. And so, coming off of Tommy John, he's trying to find the feel of the ball, and when he does, the arm's electric. It's a 95-mile-an-hour arm with a plus changeup, and he used to have a very good breaking ball as well. And so, they're Friday night guys, got a good arm, and they've always had a lot of talent. This Cal club is always one that you look at their lineup, and they've always got guys that statistically are good, and you look at their ability and go, my gosh, they got good players and good pitchers. And this is no exception. And so it's going to be a tough weekend.
Tanner Smith finally breaks the all-time RBI record and went 2 weeks without one, surprisingly. Just What was it like in the dugout, the emotions that you guys shared to Tanner and then afterwards?
Bittersweet, because during the time that you indicated in the dugout, so awesome for the kid. Everybody's excited about it. But then to end the game where you lose on a day where you set a record, and the record is more of a longevity record, excellence in longevity. The moment is bad because you lose a game. And I guarantee you that if you ask that kid today, sure, he'd be excited about the record, but I guarantee you he would have switched the result for the record last night. The excitement of the record, great, and yet the bitterness of the ending yesterday probably isn't sitting real well with that kid. He's a competitor and he's a big-time team guy.
You mentioned Aeon's kind of day-to-day and he's getting better, but do you guys have, and this might be a little bit too much in the future, but do you guys have a plan to whether bring him out of the pen when he first gets back or just throw him right in the rotation?
No, I mean, you don't usually, when a guy comes back from being out for a period of time, there's usually a ramp-up process, and he would be in the middle of the ramp-up process. How long that takes, that's up to the kid. We don't really know. We just monitor it.
Another injury question, Carter Garrotti. You've said that he's day-to-day multiple times. Just what's his status? How's he doing?
Yeah, trending in the right direction. He probably now, he traveled with us yesterday. He's been, out there doing stuff every single day, and so he's trending in the right direction.
Your guys' right field rotation is kind of switched around. Started with Diodati, then Nishida, and now Betcher. Is that going to be? How do you feel like Betcher has maybe solidified that, or is that going to be continuing to be somewhat of a revolving door?
It's up in the air right now. I mean, you can't deny what you see. It's up in the air. There's things that have been done well, and there's things that just aren't what it looks like. And until it shows up with what it looks like, the players that we have in our uniform, there's enough players that might offer an answer to those solutions, and that's our job as coaches, to be able to give those guys opportunities when they deserved it. And there's other guys that deserve opportunities that may provide us that answer. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't really mind what name's written in the lineup card. I'm just looking for the production to help the team win.
Going back to my Sunday starter question, you and Angier, have you guys talked names? You have like an idea of who might be? Was it still going to be Leo? Is it going to be somebody else who maybe an opener, something like that?
We've talked about it. Definitely have talked about the names of the Sunday starter, yeah, and Friday and Saturday as well.
There's Mark Wasikowski ahead of the series with Cal. It'll be interesting to see how the Ducks respond after the loss against Portland. To me, that's been one of the defining characteristics of the team, where they've taken one in the teeth and it doesn't seem to faze them. They come back and swing back, and after the previous bad stretch that they went through, lost to Niagara, well, what do the Ducks do? They rattle off a bunch of wins in a row. Hopefully Oregon can do that, because they're still right there in the thick of things in the Pac-12 baseball race. Will be a fun conclusion of the season. Got to start with a series win, maybe even a sweep against Cal. Let's get a break. We'll hear from more baseball student athletes after these messages. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear Sharp Turns, Toyota has more all-wheel drive sedans than any other brand. Get a grip in the stylish Camry, the elegant Crown, the striking new Prius, or the sharp Corolla. Get to Toyota.com already. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit InsureKidsNow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. Jordan Brenner inside the Country Financial Studio, brought to you as always by On Point Community Credit Union. A two-time reigning Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week, Jay Stoffel, has elevated his game as the season has gone on. Now he faces an opponent that at least the numbers say is worse. So maybe he can back it up, maybe win it 3 times in a row. I don't think that's ever been done by a Duck. Jay Stoffel meeting with the media yesterday, Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week, maybe on his way to being Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year.
Weeks, two-time Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. Just, I guess, what's kind of changed and what's been going well so far?
Nothing's really changed. Just sticking to the process of what I was doing throughout the summer coming into this year. Started off, didn't really get to pitch much, had a pitch count, had that little injury at the beginning. So that didn't really get a chance to get going, and I think, being halfway through the season now, maybe a little bit more than that, finally just getting, all the innings and the pitches that I need, and starting to find a little routine and getting on a roll.
How important was that that off season for you, for building up your velocity and coming out a lot better this year?
Very important. I got with Coach Angier and Coach Hunter, and just, they gave me a strength routine and also some stretches I need to do to get a little bit more flexible. And, I think just maturing as I age too, I think that helps a lot with velocity. And so just doing all 3 of those things, I think it definitely benefited me a lot.
When you play a team like Stanford, about every hitter in that lineup's over 300 and quite a challenge, but how do you feel shutting them down? Does that really help you in the future, knowing what you did against them?
Yeah, it helps. Stanford's, one of the best offenses in the pack, and but like I always say, every Pac team is good. From the best team in the Pac to the last team in the Pac, they're all, it's separated by just a couple games, and they all got 300 hitters, and so I got, I just gotta. It does help the confidence, but I just got to continue to go out there and do the same thing. Continue to just trust the process that I do every week, and hopefully get the same result.
Any different? Before the game, or sometimes you got it more than others, or was it just a normal feeling and just about did it?
There's times that you definitely feel like you got it. I actually felt like I had it more against OSU before the game than I did against Stanford. But I think Stanford just felt like a normal day, and I did all right, so it worked out fine.
You guys, team has won 15 of the last 19. You guys are coming off a pretty unfortunate loss against Portland. Do you feel like you have to right the ship here again on this Friday night?
Yeah, we're playing really well as a team. Obviously, last night was not fun, but yeah, just going into another Pac series and playing against Cal, as the Friday starter, I want to set a good tone, and like always, and hopefully I can go out there and give us 6+ innings, get a quality start, and try to set the tone and just get the momentum rolling again.
Do you have kind of expectations that you go into each start? Like you mentioned, like the 6+ innings. Is that kind of like do you have a number that you want to hit almost every time?
Yeah, absolutely. The farther I can go, I think that benefits the team a lot, with the bullpen, being able to pitch later in the weekend, not have to use anybody on Friday, So I think, getting a quality start as a starter in general, if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday starter, I think just getting a quality start is a big deal. Like I said, saving the bullpen, and I think the longer the starter stays in, I feel like it, kind of gives a lot of energy to the dugout, energy to the position guys behind them, more confidence, I just think the team, like I said, from any starter, not just me, I think it just be having a quality start is really important for like the team morale and the momentum of that game.
Well, guys, you probably answered this a number of times, but what were your options? Why did you pick Oregon? How did you make that decision?
I picked Oregon because, I'm from Oregon. I'm from Roseburg, Southern Oregon. So I've always wanted to come to Oregon. I grew up watching them, especially in football. Oregon's been my dream school, and I just, they offered me after my first year at JUCO, and I love the coaches, I love the facilities, and it just felt like home.
What have you seen from Cal on tape, if you guys have dived into it yet?
We haven't dived into anything yet. Yesterday we had the game. Monday we had the off day. So today and tomorrow, I believe, we'll be at practice. We'll go over hitters and how we're going to deal with them.
Their hitter, Cade Kretschmar, is on a bit of a tear. Do you know anything about him or how you might attack him?
I don't know anything about him. We'll probably, we'll talk about him and the rest of the lineup today or tomorrow. I think we're just going to attack him the same way. Just execute all my pitches, try to throw all 4 of my pitches for strikes. It's been working all right so far. So hopefully I can just continue to not just neutralize him, but neutralize the whole team.
I think last week you mentioned when you learned that you were the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week, it was a really quick phone call with Waz. What was it like this time?
Same thing. Actually, the exact same thing. The exact same words, like the same time, and we just went on with our day.
And how'd you learn you were the, I think, D1 Baseball National Pitcher of the Week? Was that on that phone call too, or did you?
No, I didn't get a phone call on that one. I was just tagged in a bunch of stuff on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. So that's how I found out.
You saw it the same way we saw it then.
Yeah. Yep.
You celebrate that at all? That accomplishment?
No. I don't know. It's it's cool and all, but I'm just trying to be where my feet are and just focus on the next game. I think getting those awards are super cool, and they're special. I'll look back on them, but in the moment, I just want to go out there and focus on Cal and maybe get the award again, and just try to be the best pitcher I can be for the team.
How do you keep pounding? How do you keep going on? You have 3 great starts in a row and coming into this Cal series. How do you keep up your momentum?
Just trying to do the same thing I've been doing. Not like superstitious wise, but just going out there, trusting the process of what I've been doing. And like I said, through my preparation of how I've been throwing bullpens, I think have really been helping. Like I said, after the game on Friday, I think a big component of a starting pitcher, especially, is throwing all 4 of your pitches for strikes. Try to keep them off balance as best you can.
Leo's had some command issues in his last few starts. Have you talked much with him and kind of helping him through his struggles recently?
I have not talked to him a lot since he started struggling. I am going to make it a point to start doing that. I think it's just we said this a lot, but I think even as a freshman, it's just hard. But he is definitely good enough. You saw earlier in the season. If people go through slumps at hitting, and pitchers same way. So I think he'll figure it out. He's gonna be really good. He already is good, but he'll figure it out, get his confidence back, and I'm definitely gonna talk to him.
There's Jay Stoffel, Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week, 2 weeks in a row. We're gonna switch gears for the rest of the show. Pivot over to spring football. Spring game. It's getting close. Start making your plans to get over to Autzen Stadium, and you'll hear from some players after these messages. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
Or your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen. And you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Pivoting over to the practice field for Oregon football, a lot of different players spoke, and we'll start with Keon Ware-Hudson, defensive tackle, monster on the inside, off the practice field yesterday and speaking with the media.
Keon Ware-Hudson. So I know after practice you kind of get hungry. What's going to be your favorite meal to go to after this?
Probably corned beef and rice. I feel like that fills me up the best after.
What's the spring been like for you? Obviously, you were kind of on the shelf last spring and didn't get really a full kind of off-season preparation. Is it just better in that sense, obviously?
It feels a whole lot different. Like you were saying, last year I didn't really get the whole spring and the whole workout before spring. So I feel like this year I took it to an advantage and, really worked on my body, worked on, being able to move better and shit. So I felt like coming into the spring, I felt a lot better.
All you guys last year, is you, Popo, Dorless. Does it just feel like there's a little bit better sense of continuity right now than there was a year ago? Yeah,
there definitely is. I feel like we the older guys in the room, so not having us out there on the field last spring was, it was rough, but, we had Taki and Swad there, so they was there to, keep the groom up.
This room now, you guys get a bunch of returning starters.
Right.
Just where do you feel like how talented do you feel like this room is going into the season?
I feel like we're really talented. Like you said, we had one of the old guys, the vets in the room. So, and I feel like everyone in that room knows what we need and what we want to achieve this year. So, I feel like everything, we have the younger guys look up to us, like Ben right here. So, we try to set a standard in there.
What was your biggest focus going into the offseason? What part of your game did you feel like you really wanted to improve?
I felt like my run game, I try to critique it a little bit, focus on my steps, not to try to overstride on things, and my pass rush too. I try to work on pass rush during the off season.
How was it working with guys like Brandon Dorless, Taki? What do they taught you, especially in the off season this spring? What it's been like working with them?
Two good guys that you named, because Taki's good to run, be able to stop the run, and Brandon obviously the pass rush guy. So, BD be showing me some moves and stuff, and I usually try to take it and implement it to my game. Taki be telling me play with a bigger base and stuff. So,
all the new faces on the offensive line that you're going against, just what have you seen from them so far as well?
I feel like they got some good dudes in there. I feel like they was lacking depth, and I feel like they got the right dudes. AJ, who you got, George as well. I haven't seen Junior yet, but everyone that's in that room, I feel like it added a plus to that offensive line.
Coming off after this first scrimmage, just what are you looking to improve upon going into the second one this weekend?
Just be able to show more effort. I feel like having more of a relentless effort, running to the ball and breaking the stack. So,
I think Terry talked about how he hypes you guys up before going against his group. What are those conversations like? What did he tell you guys?
That's my dog. Since 2019, we always been in contact, so he always try to hype us up, telling his O-line that we're talking trash or something, so get them fired up. But, it's always a good time talking to him.
What was it like hearing that he was coming back as a full-time offensive line coach?
Oh, it was great news. I mean, he hit us up before. He was saying, like, my boys, I'm back in the city. So we was all excited for him. And, it's well-earned for him.
What have your impressions of Jordan Burch been so far?
A freak athlete. I feel like he's able to do everything, like stop the run, pass rush, whatever you need.
That's what Keon doing in the interview.
I feel like he could go inside and everything. So use his athleticism to play all over the D-line and stuff.
That's kind of the first thing that everybody says, just freak athlete. Does he remind you of anybody in that sense?
I see more like a Jadeveon Clowney. I feel like he's able to go, move inside, play outside and all of that, be able to drop back as well. So
What are your expectations for this season? Like, what are your goals?
My personal goals or
all the above?
I'm gonna just go with team goal. I feel like we definitely want to win Pac-12 championship, and further on going deeper in the postseason and stuff. I felt like we have the group to do it, and then our connection is real strong. So I felt like we're getting there, but it's going to take time and build steps up there.
Are you working still on the inside? Is there any change to where you're lining up this
I'm
spring?
basically moving all over. We have some packages where the big guys will go outside and use their strength and get off and stuff. But, yeah, I'm basically all over the line.
What's it like for you lining up on the outside using that strength?
I feel like I'm a big athletic dude, so be able to go out there and show my athleticism.
Is that all you guys kind of position swapping, or is it exclusive to you? We've heard May say he's kind of playing.
We all be positioning, swapping and everything. I mean, I feel like everyone in the room could be able to do both sides, so, yeah.
There we go. Keon Ware-Hudson. The next segment, we'll hear more from spring football. Also, Oregon women's golf shot up the leaderboard to conclude the Pac-12 tournament, and it's beach volleyball senior day today. We're going to talk about that after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Before we get back to the spring football field, Some great news to share about Oregon women's golf. You know, it wasn't the best start to the Pac-12 championships, but boy, oh boy, it was a tremendous finish. Oregon shot up the leaderboard to finish in second place at the 2023 championships, and the number 9 Dunks entered the final round in fourth place, 6 strokes off the lead. Well, take a look at the round from Nagano yesterday. A 66 was a 6 under par round, giving the Ducks a 282 in the final round. That was a career best score for her, and it was one stroke shy of matching the Pac-12 championships single round record. Congratulations to Oregon women's golf, building some momentum as they look forward with more postseason play on the horizon. Good stuff from Ducks women's golf. A great program. Let's go back to the practice field. Jaleel Florence was talking to the media earlier today, member of the secondary for the Ducks.
A little bit, I haven't talked to you yet. What's your experience of getting comfortable in this program and in this community?
My experience is pretty good. Coming in early last year, I got the opportunity to play in the spring game, go through the whole spring, play the whole season, learn the playbook in year 2. You know, now I'm more comfortable. Everything's just flowing, and it's going to be a good year.
What were your goals going into spring, and maybe how do you feel like you've achieved them so far?
My goals are really just to stay healthy, learn the playbook, and just be comfortable, and just be comfortable in the field and be used anywhere on the field, and not just that corner.
Where did you feel like you got from last year in terms of an experience? Where did you grow? Where did you take away in terms of areas you need to grow?
I took away a lot. I took away that the game is just still the same game that you played back in youth football with your friends. It's just faster and more people in the stands and stuff like that, and just really have fun. Don't think about it too much. People see all the fans and stuff like that, and they get a lot of anxiety, but just calm down and just play the same game you played your whole life.
You feel like that took a little bit for you to learn that lesson, maybe a couple games?
Most definitely it did. In the spring game, I got scored on like my first drive, so it really woke me up. Then my second drive, I came back and like locked in, got an interception.
Have you been repping at other spots besides corner then?
Yeah, I've been repping at nickel, at star a lot, so that's pretty good.
What's the difference just from maybe, I guess, a physicality in terms of playing those two different spots? Nickel, maybe you're in the box a little more.
Yeah, the nickel, you're in the box a little bit more. You get to be in the run action, and you get to cover guys, so more of that versatility, get a cover guy that can tackle as well. So,
what have you learned from there's a lot of new faces from a defensive back perspective, a lot of older guys.
Yeah.
What have you learned from some of those guys? And
I learned a lot from Kyrie Jackson, competitiveness. He likes to compete. He brings that energy from 6:30 in the morning to after practice. We're competing all day, so he brought that competitive nature.
The physicality of playing nickel, is that something that you feel like you've always had, or is that something you've really worked on?
Almost definitely. When I was in high school, we played a lot of man, so I'll line up in a slot a lot. And then, just being a physical corner, I always want to be in the run action and stuff like that. When the coaches said they need me at nickel, I was available.
Did you get any work at nickel last year, or is that just?
Well, we're running out of time here on Duck Insider. There's Jaleel Florence there. It's a busy weekend coming up for the Ducks, starting actually a couple minutes from now at Amazon Park. Beach volleyball with Senior Day. First serve at 2 o'clock. That'll be a fun event. And then tomorrow, looking ahead to 2 big series on the diamond. Oregon baseball against Cal, and we'll hear from some Duck softball players. Media availability today, and that will be previewing a series at home at the Jane against Arizona. Thank you to everybody who made this one possible. We'll be back tomorrow, and as always, go Ducks.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy